Audio Jungle.
Good morning! Welcome to 8CJM's Newsroom. I am Paulina Gabrieli Madera Merhudio, your anchor for today's segment. In the present time, people around the world are aware on how the Earth's atmosphere changes profoundly. Scientific researches and reports have documented shifts in chemical compound and compositions in the lower and upper atmosphere. These findings have implications for terrestrial life and human societies. Since atmospheric change brings a lot of tragic effects on human and creatures on Earth, mounting worldwide concern on its worsening conditions arises. The environmental agencies and the meteorological societies performed studies and critical researches to validate or attest the present claims that atmospheric change will continue to worsen for decades into the future. In all the world, our country is one of those countries that is prone to natural calamities brought about by atmospheric change. This presentation will focus on the following points. Number 1. What is a typhoon and its classifications? Number 2. Why is the Philippines often visited by typhoons? Number 3. What are the effects of typhoon on people, environment, and the economy of the Philippines? And number 4. What are the precautionary measures to follow so that we can prevent or lessen the threatening aftermath of destructive typhoons? The Philippine archipelago is strategically situated in the path where turbulent and devastating tropical cyclones coming from the Pacific pass. Because of its geographical location and its physical characteristics or environment, Philippines is always visited by strong and destructive tropical cyclones. More tropical cyclones are entering the Philippine area of responsibility than anywhere else in the world. The average number of tropical cyclones in our country is 20 TCs per year, with 8 or 9 of them crossing the Philippines. The peak of the typhoon season is July through October, when nearly 70% of all typhoons develop. Among the tropical cyclones, typhoon is the most often weather disturbance that hits or visits the island. A typhoon is a large, powerful, violent cyclone. It is a low-pressure area rotating counterclockwise and containing rising warm air that forms over warm water in the western Pacific Ocean. Typhoon can inflict terrible damage since it brings thunderstorms, violent winds, torrential rain, floods, landslides, large and very big waves associated with storm surges. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration classifies the typhoon into Number 1. Tropical depression with maximum winds from 25 to 63 kilometers per hour. Number 2. Tropical storm with maximum winds from 64 to 118 kilometers per hour. Number 3. Typhoons with maximum winds from 119 to 220 kilometers per hour. And number 4, super typhoon with winds exceeding to 220 kilometers per hour. The Philippines had suffered destructive typhoons that battered our country in the past years. To name a few, we can include in the list Super Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, Super Typhoon Rolly in 2020, Typhoon Undoy in 2009, and Typhoon Ulysses in 2020. The common threats associated with these typhoons are heavy rains, strong winds, storm surge, floods, landslides or mudslides, and worse, tsunamis. Typhoon has adverse effects, not only in the lives and properties of the Filipino people, but it also has a grave impact in the economy of the country. When this weather disturbance barrels the Philippines, it may result in nationwide environmental and property damages. Here are the significant effects of typhoon in our country. Number 1. It can collapse buildings and houses. Number 2. It can damage agriculture and fishing communities. Number 3. It causes flooding and landslides. Number 4. It brings disease outbreaks. Number 5. It destroys infrastructure. And number 6. Loss of life. If the government will fail to establish comprehensive preparedness measures and planning schemes, Philippines will suffer its inevitable impact. Our country's economy will suffer a downfall because structures or economic assets will be seriously destroyed by such calamities. Since the country is near to its rainy season comes July to October, people should be prepared by knowing what to do before, during, and after a typhoon. It is of utmost importance to have knowledge of what's and how's on such phenomena for safety and beneficial purposes. Here is a comprehensive list of the do's and don'ts before, during, and after a typhoon, so we may be able to save the lives of our family and others. What should we do before a typhoon? Number 1. Since we know that there is a coming typhoon, we should be aware of its signs and warnings, effects, and dangers. Keep ourselves updated with the progress of the typhoon through radio, televisions, or the internet, so we may protect the people, animals, and properties. Number 2. Make sure to have enough food and water. Don't forget to stock up on these necessities for at least a week until weather situations go back to normal again. Fill up pails or other containers of water, but make sure to put a lid on them to avoid breeding grounds of dengue mosquitoes. Also, ration out your stocked food. You do not want to starve in case the typhoon would last longer than expected. Number 3. Inspect and clean up your house and surroundings, especially your drainage system. Check to see if there's a need to fix your house, such as holes on the roof, damaged doors, windows, or ceilings. Have them fixed as soon as possible so it can withstand the heavy rain and the strong winds. What to do after a typhoon? Number 1. Don't drink water directly. Boil water before drinking as it may be contaminated by flood water. Also, throw out all the food that may have gone bad or spoiled, as well as the things that could be breeding grounds of mosquitoes, flies, cockroaches, and other insects, because these may cause diseases, food spoilage, and water contamination. Number 2. If your house was one of the heavily damaged, make sure that you listen and follow the advice of the authorities concerning security and stability. If you are uncertain of your house's condition, do not go yet unless you are advised to do so. Number 3. Inform concerned offices or agencies regarding damaged cables, electric posts, and other utility services. Number 4. Be careful in cleaning and clearing your house and surroundings of debris. Wear protective gear such as boots and gloves. Number 5. Keep listening to the latest news on the radio and TV. If there is no electricity, make sure your radio has enough batteries. Watch out for continued rains and flooding because they may still persist despite the storm being gone. Thank you for watching. Again, I am Polina Gabrieli Madera Mercurio, reporting. For more informative videos and presentations, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Brielle. And follow me on my other accounts as well.